Lesson 2.2d. Break apart a number to help you multiply by tens. Multiplying a number by 200 is just the same as multiplying it by 2 and then by 100. So in this example, you can see there are 7 groups of 200. So you can think about it like this. 7 times 200 is the same as 7 times 200ths. Using parentheses, you would say 7 times 2, multiply that first. So 7 times 2 is 14 times 100. 14 times 100 equals 1400 or 1400. Let's try this with a bigger number. And this time, let's multiply it by 5,000. So multiplying a number by 5,000 is the same as multiplying it by 5 and then by 1,000. So let's try it this one. 67 times 5,000 is the same as 67 times 5 in parentheses, because whenever you see parentheses, do this part first. So 67 times 5 times 1,000. So you figure out what 67 times 5 is 335. Then you simply have 335 times 1,000, which gives you 335,000. Go ahead and pause the video and try this strategy with your guided learning problems on pages 60 to 61. Remember, when you see parts that have parentheses like these, that you're doing that multiplication first before you multiply what you get by 100. Lesson 2.2e. We're learning how to round factors to the nearest 10 or 100 to estimate products. The estimate of a product is often farther from the actual answer than other estimates, but it still gives you an idea of the size of the answer. So it's not going to be as exact of an estimate when you're multiplying two numbers together. You could be slightly off or a slightly exaggerated number, but that's okay. It still gives you a ballpark. So if we were to estimate the product of 632 and 26, you would round 632 to the nearest 100 first. And then you would round 26 to the nearest 10, So 632 rounds to 600 and 26 rounds to 30. So here's the simplified version to help you just do mental math and make sure you're on the right track. 600 times 30, you can think about it like this. 600 times 3 times 10. So you would have 600 times 3 would be 1,800 times 10 is 18,000. So the product should be around 18,000. Now for these guided learning problems, you are going to estimate the product by rounding and then check your answer. You can find these problems on textbook pages 62 to 63. Go ahead and pause the video, and when you're done solving these problems, go ahead and check your answers using the answer key, and then unpause the video for the next part of the lesson. Lesson 2.2f. Round factors to the nearest 10 or 1,000 to estimate products. And remember, we use estimates when we want to just kind of check our answers. So that's why we're practicing it again. I know you did this in 4th grade and in 3rd grade. We use estimates to make sure that we're on the right track and that our answers are reasonable. So for this example, we have a word problem. A museum gift shop sold 1,215 sets of dinosaur models. There were 26 dinosaur models in each set. Estimate the total number of dinosaur models the shop sold. So your first step would be to round 1,215 to the nearest 1,000. And then you'll round 26 to the nearest 10. So 1,215 rounds to about 1,000 and 26 rounds to about 30. So you can do this part in your head. You can think, 1,000 times 30, that's the same as 1,000 times 3 times 10. So 3,000 times 10 would be 30,000. And the shop sold about 30,000 dinosaur models. The reason why we estimate and we use these little tricks is just so that we can do mental math quickly. So now you're going to go ahead and do these guided learning problems. You're going to estimate the products of each math problem here. And then after you've estimated, you're going to solve the problem and check if your estimate is reasonable. Next, you have the Let's Practice problems. Now, these Let's Practice problems must be done digitally. So that will be a separate post in your Google Classroom. You're going to turn the Let's Practice problems in, and your teacher will check them to see if you're ready to move on to your independent work in your workbook. When you're done with your Let's Practice problems, you can do your workbook, pages 29 to 36.